everybody. I am very proud to meet Dr. Rohan, who has just scored All India rank 51 in the NEET SS 2023 surgical group. And first of all, Dr. Rohan, congratulations for the amazing rank. So tell me something about your journey of your preparation. How about did you go from the day one of your starting of the preparation to the exam?
Thank you so much, sir. So actually, the road to this rank for me has been quite rocky, to say the least, because actually I got done with my MS General Surgery last year, and so like even before the MS final exam, like around like mid second year, the end of second year, I started thinking in terms of preparing for the NEET SS exam. So for me, that was like I started making notes mainly from Sabiston and Bailey. So actually, I kind of got very focused on making notes, and I didn't solve too many MCQs. So that's how my preparation began during my MS. Then after the MS final exam, I got down to studying for NEET SS, and even then, in those 2 months in between, I felt I focused a lot on studying theory, and I didn't give enough time to MCQs and solving grand tests or anything of the sort. But I think I managed to get an All India rank of 486. So at that time, I had read a lot about endocrine surgery and breast oncology, and I was quite interested in it. So I felt I should take up breast and endocrine surgery, and I happened to get a seat at SGPGI Lucknow. So I was very happy actually with HTPGI. Like it's a great institute, and the faculty and department over there was great. But after working there for around 3 months, like I joined in January 2023, and I worked till April 2023. I realized that this is probably not the branch that I want to be working in for the rest of my life. Like I wasn't ready to leave the abdomen and the pelvis. So I felt like I should have taken up something like gastro euro. So after much debate, and I spoke a lot with my friends and my parents, and like credit to my parents, they were like really supportive. They're like, "This is your life. If this is not something you see yourself doing, then you should leave it and like move ahead." And so I did take that decision. So April, like the whole month of April and some part of May was me actually figuring out how to go ahead, because there was also some doubt about whether I could give NEET again. I thought I might be ineligible. But then I found out that I was, and so I started preparing for NEET again around May. And so I kept what I thought were my mistakes last year in mind, and then I started preparing again. And yeah, here we are.
So you started this year in May, like around 5 months before the exam, or last year May?
No, this year May, so because
This year May.
I was in SGPGI in the
Oh, so
interim,
when
but
did
I
you?
had yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So I had I had studied in my first attempt during MS, and then post MS we had around 2 months. Then after the result came and I got the rank I got last year, I knew like there was a good chance I'd get endocrine. So I kind of like took a break, and then I joined the course, and I was in the course for 3 months. So in that period I didn't study at all,
Okay.
and then I started again after leaving, which was around May 2023 this year.
Oh, okay. That's
Yes, sir.
a very inspirational thing regarding that. I'll just sum up that you left endocrine to go for with your calling, that is to deal with abdomen or pelvis. So I'll ask you next question is that what do you want to do now? Onco, gastro, what is your
No,
dream branch?
actually, the thing is, I realized that when I was in GMC, I enjoyed working in urology a lot as well. And also in endocrine surgery, like I used to really enjoy it when we had adrenal procedures, when we were working in the retroperitoneum laparoscopic surgeries, retroperitoneoscopic surgeries. And actually, since MBBS, I've always had this kind of idea that transplantation is very interesting and it's something I want to get into. So I think taking all this in mind, urology seems like a good fit for me right now, since I worked in it also and did enjoy myself then.
Okay.
And I know I can like move into transplantation if I want. I can move
Right.
into like uro
So
oncology and
you
all.
wish to pursue urology in the future.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Right,
sir.
right, right. That's
Yeah.
a great thing.
Yes, sir.
So, we got to know regarding how you started. So now, please tell so that even the listeners, the students will be watching you, that how about did you go reading in this 5 months? How was your preparation like?
Yes, sir. So I think one of the main things that I had to take away from this prep that really helped me get here is that I think the first thing you need to do is find company or surround yourself with people who are aiming for the same thing. So I am from Mumbai, but I've done my MS General Surgery from Government Medical College, Nagpur.
Right.
So I had a lot of colleagues studying in Nagpur, and I kind of realized very quickly into my preparation that if I try to study on my own, I'm not going to have that motivation. So I spoke to my parents, and I think I took the call to move to Nagpur and study with them.
Okay.
And so I stayed with them, like, and I had a great group, like Aniket Baraskar, who is ranked 5,
Right.
Kalyani Sundarajan, who's ranked 197, Manali Jain, Rajat Kapoor. Like, these were all my friends with me, and we were all very motivated. And
Right.
I think that was great because, like, if there was a day that one of us was low or was not able to study, there was someone else picking us up, and the
Right.
same thing we do for the other. So I feel like for whoever who's studying, I think it's important. Like, you might not be like I was able to move. Like, I was lucky that I was able to go where everyone was. But if you're not able to do that, use WhatsApp, use Zoom, or like
Yeah.
try to keep in touch with people so you're always motivated. I think the second thing I think that was really important to my preparation was that I am someone who makes notes. Like, it's been something I do since MBBS. So even throughout my in MS around mid second year and second year, I started making notes from like for some subjects from daily, for some subjects for Sabiston, what I felt was more important. So I would like be reading, and then side by side I'd be making notes on my iPad.
Right.
So I think that's very important because in that process of reading a paragraph and then converting that paragraph into points that you're writing down, you learn a lot and it stays in your mind for much longer.
True.
Like, so I feel that is a major part of my preparation to make notes and have those notes ready. So then when it's something that you have made yourself, it's much faster when you're revising as well.
Very true. Yeah.
And so like I said, in my first attempt, I felt I did not give enough grand tests. I did not give enough, solve enough MCQs at all. So I knew that this time around, that is something I cannot afford to do. So whenever the tests are live, like when there is like last year, I used to be like, okay, I'll give it later. Like, I'm not fully prepared now. Let me give it later. I don't need to give it live. So this time I didn't let myself do that. I was like, I have to give the test live. I have to like solve the question banks pretty quickly. And again, this is important is like when you have people around you who are also studying and they're giving the test live, you are also motivated to like say, no, I'm not going to like give this later. I'll give it with everyone so
Yeah.
that we can assess and like work together.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to realize that it is like if you work as a team, if you work as a group, it's much better. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think what you mentioned is that the group, what you found, it is actually a very good thing that not
Yeah.
everybody has such a group where they encourage each other.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it is all about pulling each other down and getting your preparation in a good way, achieving your rank. So I think the one what you mentioned is a very good thing which you have got. And yesterday I
Yes,
was
sir.
talking
Yeah.
to Dr. Aniket. So same thing about the notes he mentioned and about the group. So I
Yeah.
find the group thing with each other motivating a very big thing which you mentioned.
Yes, sir. So I give like huge credit to that, like to the fact that I put myself in that environment and I had my friends around me and we were supporting each other throughout.
Yeah,
So that is a big thing because otherwise it's very difficult to to go through this and not feel like what am I doing? Like, I'm giving an exam right now. Like, I'm not
yeah,
like operating or working. So like
yeah.
it's good to have that motivation around you.
And it is also good to have people who consider you as your as a colleague and not just a
Yes,
competitor.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So next, what I would like to ask you is that right now, if you want to share your tips or something which you like to tell to the future aspirants who will be watching you, what would you like to tell them in terms of how should they be thinking about the preparation and also the technicalities like how to read or what things would you advise if a junior comes today and asks you that, sir, I want to do NEET SS, how should I do it?
So first of all, I'd say is like in your MS as soon as possible. I think it's important to read the text because we tend to focus a lot on like say tables or diagrams and stuff like that, and that is important. Like, you can't ignore those either. But I feel like a lot of questions this time came from the text, and it was also very conceptual.
Yes.
So like understand why a particular thing is done. Like there was a question in our exam also about aortofemoral bypass, where there was something about why is this? They had given a step which was correct, and then they had asked this was why the step was done, and that was wrong.
Yeah.
So this is something you only understand if you have conceptually understood the subject
Yes.
and the procedure or what is done. So I think it's important to focus on that because that's what stays with you, I think, rather than like facts. And it's important, of course, to learn tables, to learn all of that. But I think this is also something that you can't do away with. And I am someone who makes notes. So, like, my advice to most people would be that making notes is a great, if you have the time, obviously. Like, if you start early, if you have a year in front of you, or if you're starting in MS and you have a year and a half in front of you, starting with notes is a great way to go because it helps you get into the rhythm as well. You understand how to read. You kind of find MCQ points as you're writing things down, as opposed to just reading them. So I think I give that also a lot of importance. And yeah, solving MCQs is definitely important. So as you get closer to the exam, you need to be solving more and more MCQs per day. And giving the grand tests also is important. So I think like with Sushruta LGS, like what I liked particularly in hindsight now I feel it was good was the decathlon test series that I did give. It was a test every Sunday. And I remember at one point thinking, this is too many tests, I'm not able to keep up. But I think we stuck to it, and like I was not able to give all, but out of 10, I think I did give 8 in a row. And because of that, that helped me a lot personally because I had just entered this whole zone of studying in May, while a lot of people had been studying since like December or
From,
January.
yeah.
So for me, who joined so late, those tests being held so close together and like ensuring that I give all of them on time kind of got me into the rhythm much faster than if I would have not done that.
Not done. Yeah.
So that's important. And also, like, yeah, I think it's important to give grand tests and MCQs, but reading is also important. You need to have a base before you go on. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think what you said is that even I agree with that. That reading of textbook is the first step which they should start off with, and then move on to the other things like MCQs and everything else.
Yes, sir.
And as you said, if you can make notes your own, that is the biggest help which
Yes,
you
sir.
get. If you cannot, then okay, you take help of other materials. But I think that is a very good thing that keeping your base should be textbook. So I would say Bailey, Sabiston, and then short. So what is your take on that? Do you agree on that, or do you feel there is something else which should be done in perspective of NEET SS?
So I think Bailey is definitely like something you have to do. And I think for GI, again, Sabiston is something that is necessary. Like I try, like, but Sabiston is quite huge. Like again, I tried as much as I could for GI, but there were some things that I had, like I just ended up reading from Bailey itself. I think Schwartz maybe for endocrine and vascular. I felt like this year some questions did come
Right
from
from
these
that,
two
yeah.
topics from Schwartz, and I felt this year's paper was also quite. And there was a lot of endocrine, so that was I realized later was a lot from Schwartz. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say maybe like you should have Bailey as a base for everything from general to like transplantation the end. But the other textbooks you can like pick and choose as per the topic. Like for GI you can take Sadiston, maybe for
Right.
endocrine you can take Schwartz. So be smart about it. It's not possible to read all three.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think you being a student who started midway, and what you're saying is it would be very useful for the people who will be watching who are also in similar phase, not just
Yeah.
starting midway but also for the people who maybe finish their MS and then they would have taken a break or financial
Yeah.
reasons and then starting late. So I think the what you said is a very good thing which will be useful for them.
Hmm.
So now coming, obviously, because this platform is my baby. So first thing I would like to ask you is that how did you come to know about us? Secondly, because obviously we are new. So how did you find, you already told that you took the decathlon series, so mock exam. So how would you first you came across, and how would you rate us? Like what is the good things, negative things? What is the feedback for us?
So actually, I came across through a friend, like one of my batchmates in MS, Akash his name. He's the one who told, like the few of us who were studying together about this app. So then we decided to like get onto it. So in terms of the app, I think what I liked about the MCQ bank, like I couldn't solve the whole of it, but what little I could solve is that it had a lot of updates from the new Bailey. So I felt that was a great thing. The other thing that I felt helped a lot was those short videos that you used to make where you would be discussing the tables from daily and Sabiston. So,
Yeah.
like, I think that was a good thing to like use as like something to after you study the chapter. If you go through that video, it's kind of like a revision of the important tables.
Yes.
And it's like a good break in between like reading and solving MCQs. It's a good thing to have where you're still like not wasting time or anything, but it's like you're also kind of like consolidating what you've read. So I felt those were very helpful. And I also think like later when you started the daily dose with the 20 questions every day,
Yes.
that was really great because even if I studied something like say maybe a week or two ago, the fact that like Wednesday's daily dose would have that topic kind of helped me stay in touch with all things throughout.
Right.
So I used to give like maybe 2.5 hours a day to like giving the daily dose like 20 minutes, and then after that reviewing it thoroughly in the sense that if you asked a question about a particular topic, I just read that segment or that topic so that I'm still in touch with it. Like maybe not
Right.
the entire chapter,
Right.
but like that part of it. And then of course decathlon was very helpful in terms of like keeping us like like alert and ensuring that we don't like slack. So I think that was also good.
So
Yeah.
I faced the criticism regarding that I made the decathlon series slightly tougher. So in
Okay.
the retrospective way, what do you feel that was that? Because I obviously when I lost to NB in the
Yeah.
terms of the toughness, because I think they asked a entirely different pattern. So
Yeah.
what do you agree with that, or you felt that that
So
was
I
necessary?
think like we have to be prepared for everything. So I guess that was important. Like I mean, like yeah, there were a lot of the questions were tough, and there were times where I was quite like worried about what is going on. Like why am I
Right,
doing so badly?
right,
And I remember talking to my friends about this, where I'd be like, why am I not like why am I like swinging up and down like a pendulum? I'm not
yeah,
like I don't have a clear progressive trajectory. Like sometimes I'm getting great, sometimes it's very low, then
right,
it's good again.
right,
So that I mean that was a little difficult to deal with, but at the end of the day, I feel like it toughens you up and ensures you study. Like it makes sure you don't slack. So like in the end, and you have to be prepared for everything with this exam.
right.
So yeah, I think like that was the way to go.
Right. So,
Yeah.
first of all, I'll thank you for the kind words what you said about our platform. And specifically, I'm asking all of the students who are students and have scored a rank regarding this because I started this platform to help the students in all the way possible by me. So I also want to become better, and that's the reason I'm asking all the students regarding feedback. Now you have mentioned regarding your preparation and everything. Now, if like I keep the floor open to you, just what do you wish to tell to the future aspirants who would be watching you regarding not just about the reading, but also dealing with the stress, dealing with something like what you said earlier regarding the seat, you left it, you again prepared, dealing with the stress, dealing with the ups and downs, as you said. So, how would you tell them? How should they manage it? What is your take home message for them?
So like I mentioned in the beginning, I think this like we tend to like it is individual ranks at the end of the day, and it is you taking your seat. But I think it is a team effort that gets you through this because it's very difficult to do this sort of thing alone. Like especially like I think I've given like my entrance exam for MBBS and my entrance exam for MS. I have not done as well as I would have wanted to there. Like I got into good colleges, I have to say, but I felt I could have done better.
Better.
And this is the time that I've studied the most. Like I pushed myself the most, much more than those two exams.
Exams.
And again, I think the key difference is in that in those two attempts, I was on my own. Like I was studying at home in a very comfortable environment. I didn't have many friends where we used to interact as much as I did. But this time it was completely different because I was in the library like from like beginning in the morning till night, and I had like people around me in the library with the same aim, with the same focus, with the same energy. Like
Right.
they were also like, we have to do this time.
Right.
So I think that's really important. Like I would not be anywhere close to this rank without that. I give a lot of credit to that atmosphere that was there.
Right.
So I think that's really important. And I think when it comes to the branch and everything, like I think I did get carried away when it came to endocrine with what I read as opposed to what I should have gone with what I had seen and worked in. So I'd say, like, if anyone, like, I'm sure a lot of people are pretty sure about what they want, and that's great. But if you're someone who is not, maybe like speak to more people,
Yes.
like, try to shadow someone for longer. Like, I had this idea in my head that this is what I want to do, and then I didn't bother talking to people in the field.
Right.
I was like, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and do it. And then I went and worked there for 3 months, and I realized, okay, this is not what I want to do. So I think maybe, like, if you are someone who's on the fence about things, it's important to like get a good perspective and keep your mind open
Yeah.
before making this decision. Because I did, like, I'm very fortunate that after leaving and like getting here, like the hard work paid off. But it is not an easy thing to be in that position where you're leaving something you work very hard for.
Yes.
So yeah, that's important.
So I
Yeah.
think what students should take from your example, which is an inspiration in your own way, is that not everybody, as you said, it is not necessary that everybody knows that what brands they want.
Yeah.
Because I myself now, as I get a lot of students asking me regarding what they should take or not. So I think not many are sure, and some are, like you said, that you went into endocrine thinking something. So even some people are like that. So I think that's a very good message, that you should be very much clear about what you want in the
Yes.
starting,
Yeah.
and keeping
Yeah.
it as a goal and working hard towards it. And other things, what you said rightly is everything now. I've talked to multiple students, all tell that hard work, dedication. Obviously, that's the reason you are sitting where you are with the rank. But other
Yes.
thing is support, positive mindset. All the things
Yes, sir.
matters a lot. Sincerity always pays off, hard work pays off. But this all things add to that, and it even makes it better than what it could have been.
Yes, sir. So it's a mental sort of game. Like, you need to focus on what your mindset is throughout.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important. Like, the thing is, like, we have people who are our friends who are in other branches or maybe outside of medicine entirely. So they are very unlikely to understand what you're
Understand.
going through and how important this exam is to you. Like, even with my parents or my family, like, none of them are doctors. So for them also, it was not easy to understand how I'm putting so much work and, like, so that's why I feel it's important to have a team around you, like to have surround yourself with people who
Surrounding,
know
yeah.
what you're going through, who can always pull you up when they need to and like remind you of what's important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. So I think you have said a lot of things which I think if the students take it in the right way, it would definitely help them to achieve their goal. And
Yeah.
I think I have asked everything what I wanted to know from you. So at the end, I'll again congratulate you and wish you
Thank you
best
so
of
much,
luck
sir.
for your future. So I'll
Thank you.
end by asking you, you said you want to enter into urology. So what
Yes,
is
sir.
the college where you would be seeing next?
So I'm thinking of like IKDRC and Delhi, VMMC Delhi,
Right,
and RML. So I'd like to apply to these colleges.
right,
Like, I've heard about them a lot,
right,
and I know like my friends are there. So like
right.
I'd like to go there. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
I think I wish you best of luck that you get
Thank you
the
so much, sir.
desired college. And thank you so much for taking out time to talking to us. And
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks.
I wish you all the best and welcome to the world of SS. Although you were already into it, but now again, welcome
Yeah.
back to the world of SS.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So thank you so much for taking out time. I think we will end it here. Thank you so much for
All right,
joining.
sir.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
sir. Thank you.